lower the handle to hit higher bunker shots. In today's video, I'm going to simply get you to hit higher bunker shots than you ever thought were possible. So if you're facing a situation like this, we need some height, we need some stopping power, it's never going to worry you again. Make sure you check out this video. So as you'll have seen there, I was way higher than the edge of the bunker. This is about 5 foot high, and I had that ball at least 1.5 foot higher than that by the time it had got around a couple of meters, okay? So no problem with clearing the height of the lip. I get a lot of golfers who come for lessons with me here and go, I just don't know how to do it. And it actually surprises them how high they can start to hit their bunker shots. And we're not talking about huge changes, dramatic things here. I'm going to discuss one thing that's set up and one thing to do with the wrists, okay? So it's going to be a relatively simple changes to help us get that elevation, that height needed. Now the good news is this method not only is going to give us the height, but it's going to help us get very shallow into the sand. So we're actually slapping the sand, we're not digging. That's what we get with all good bunker players. They have that different sound in the sand. There's not that thud where they're digging in. And when you do dig in, you've got no real margin of error. Okay, so if you took just, you know, a couple extra inches of sand, more like 4 or 5 inches back, we start digging and leaving the ball short, and from there the compensation is to thin the ball out. So actually this method is really going to help you utilize not only the loft on the club but the bounce of the wedge as well. So we start getting the trailing edge interacting with the sand as it should do, so it's gliding and skimming. Okay, so the couple of setup changes I made, the one thing there, as I alluded to in the intro, was lowering my hands, so lowering the handle down. That helps me get the club face pointing a little bit more up, but it also helps me create a little bit of angle in the back of my wrists here. So I almost want to feel like the back of my wrists are pointing up towards me, and I'm almost setting some angle already in the wrists. I don't want high hands. I definitely want to lower the handle. That opens the face, but also gets this almost cupping angle in the back of the wrist here. Because what I want to feel as the technical change in my backswing is I almost want to feel like my hands don't move very much, but the club moves quite a lot. So I don't want big wide movements here. I want to almost let the club work up much quicker. You can see my hands have only just got to the outside edge of my trail thigh, but the club head is starting to point more up in the air. So I'm trying to feel like the club moves a lot without my wrists moving, or sorry, without my hands moving a lot. And I'm trying to get the sensation when I do that, that I allow this wrist angle to cock up. So I almost want to try and set this angle in the back of my wrist where I've almost got my knuckles much further behind my palm. So I'm really setting this angle. Why do I want to do that? Well, it helps get that club face wide open. So at the top of my backswing, the club face is pointing towards me. By the time I strike the sand, the club face is pointing to me, and guess what? On the way through, there's the opposite angle in the lead wrist and the club face is pointing to me. So I'm utilizing the loft, utilizing the bounce. Bad bunker players, they start digging in with that front edge. We really want you to use the trail edge of the club here. So low hands, that means almost the back of the wrist, as I said, the knuckles are pointing up towards me. That really helps me with that backswing change. I'm just trying to feel like the club moves a lot, my hands don't. And that sets this angle I'm really looking for in my trail wrist. So I've got that angle, now I just have to let it go. And that's where my speed is created. So a lot of people are worried about some of the senior golfers I'll meet, they're worried about, well, I don't generate enough speed. Well, actually, if we set this angle in the wrist, now we've got a lot of speed on the way through. So almost set that angle and let that angle go. So our wrists are cocking up and down cocking, and there's our speed, there's our power. So wrist cock and then down cock in the downswing movement. Let's hit one more here. Smooth over just where I was digging a bit. Okay. I should make it fair, shouldn't I? You're going to say, well, that's a good lie. So whatever lie we're from, that one's actually sitting in a little bit of an old divot. It does not matter. I'm going to lower my handle, Feel like the knuckles are pointing up towards me, and I'm just going to be trying to cock the wrist up so the club is moving a lot more than my hands. I'm going for that middle flag where I hit that first one. Oh, that was unlucky. That was loaded with spin. It actually stopped a little bit too quick, so it's probably about 8 foot or 10 foot short, but it was a lovely strike again, lovely contact point. So again, got that sensation the club was doing a lot of the work for me, cocking the wrists up, down cocking them here. If there was one last little tip to this video, and this should happen anyway, when I lower the hand, I'd also like the trail hand to be a little bit more on top, so really getting that feeling that my palm is pointing down to the ground. So I'm trying to create quite a weak grip. I don't want my right hand, my trail hand, underneath the golf club where I can see a lot of the fingertips. I want to hide the fingertips and feel like my palm is facing down to the ground. Again, it's just going to help me keep that club face open. So lower the handle, trail hand more on top, and the club does a lot of the movement, not my hands. Okay, so that's where the speed is created from. Let's see if I can hit one even a bit closer. Oh, it's pretty similar to the first one, just leaving it a touch short. But I'm very happy with the contact, very happy with the height that I've achieved here, getting the ball up very, very quickly. So even if I was excessive and getting much nearer the face of the bunker here, it's not going to worry me as much because I know I can create that instant height. So the club face is wide open. I may not get this quite back to the flag, so obviously the more open you get the face, the more we're creating the height, the less distance we're going to get. But we're really happy from a situation, this one I'm really up the face, to get the ball up and out and onto the green. So our expectations of our distance away from the flag may change just a little bit, but lower the handle, trail hand more on top, and feeling like the club moves much more than my hand. So I'm almost really setting this wrist angle here, okay, on the backswing, and then I can let it go. So what you heard there hitting the edge of the bunker was not the ball. That was definitely my club on the way through. So I got ball, but it meant I, yes, was going to strike the face of the bunker. It didn't hurt my hands because the club was definitely more on the way up. But you'll have seen a lot of height there. Now it's only just got onto the green. So again, it's left me probably 12 foot short of that flag. But I cleared that 5 foot high, and yet I was within 3 foot or so of the edge of the bunker. So we can create a lot of height very quickly. The first tip is just to lower the handle. The second thing we can do at setup is get that trail hand, your bottom hand, a little bit more on top of the club, and just get that feeling that in the movement, the club moves a lot more than the hands. And that's really going to help you set that wrist angle. Big, big power source. The speed, the power there creates the spin. Okay, so if you're creating this wide movement, not a lot of spin, struggling with the height, change it. Get the wrists more involved in your bunker play, and it's definitely going to help your short game. If that video has helped, make sure you hit the thumbs up, share it with as many golfers as you can, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel for at least 2 instructional videos a week. Right now, YouTube is suggesting the next video of mine that's relevant for you, and it is just here, so click on it and check it out at the same time.